Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to discuss about the different questions on the concept deadlocks in the previous gate papers. Okay. So here we are going to see some of the questions from the previous gate papers. So this question is asked from gate 1993 for 2 marks. So let's go to the question. Consider a system having m resources of same type, and these resources are shared by 3 processes, that is A, B and C, which have peak demands of 3, 4 and 6 respectively. So for what value of them the m deadlock will not occur here. Okay. So consider a system having m resource. So we know that in the deadlock procedure, if a process is holding one resource and waiting for another resource, then a deadlock may occur here, right? So similarly here, so in the system there are multiple number of resource and process. So here the resource is given as m, and these resources are shared by 3 process. Okay, so resource are m and process are 3, A, B and C, which have peak demands of 3, 4 and 6 respectively. So for what value of m deadlock will not occur here. Okay, so for this we are going to use one formula here, that is a total of maximum needed must be less than number of resource plus number of process. Okay. So here given that total of maximum need must be less than number of resource plus number of process. Okay, so here total of the maximum needed here given as the peak demands of 3, 4 and 6 respectively. So total of max need is 3 plus 4 plus 6. Okay, so which is less than number of resource plus number of process. Okay, so what is the number of resource given? M, plus number of process is 3. So if you add it, so 3 plus 4 7, 7 plus 6 13, 13 less than m plus 3, that means 10 less than m. That means, so for the value of, so for what value of m deadlock will not occur, they have asked. That means if the m value is greater than 10, then the deadlock will not occur here. Okay, so the answer must be 10. Okay, so m value is given as 10 here. So m greater than 10. Okay, so here they have given the number of resource and the number of process. Okay, so number of resources and number of process, and they have given the total of maximum needed and number of resource plus number of process. Okay, it must be less than number of resource plus number of process. Okay, and now if you apply this formula, then we will get 10 less than m. That means m greater than 10. So m greater than 10 means the number of resource must be greater than 10. Okay, sorry, it must be greater than 10, not equals to 10, right? That means 13. The answer will be 13, right? If the number of resources are greater than 10, then the deadlock will not occur. Okay, so next question. A computer has 6 tape drives with n process competing for them. Each process may need 2 drives. Okay, and what is the maximum value of n for the system to be deadlock free? Okay, so here they have given a computer has 6 tape drives, that is the number of resource are given as 6 and with n process. So process is number of process is n. Okay, competing for them. So each process may need 2 drives. Okay, so what is the maximum value of n for the system to be deadlock free? So we have to find the maximum number of process that can hold the 6 tape drives, which will be deadlock free. Okay, so suppose, so here given that 6 resource and the number of process p. So let us take the process b3. Okay, so process b3, so p1, p2 and p3, and here the number of process must be, so number of resources must be allotted 2 for each process, right? So here given that each process had to carry 2 drives, so 1 2 1 2. Okay, so in this manner if it is arranged, then no deadlock will occur, right? So process p1 will execute completely, and then process p2 will execute, then process p3 will execute. So there is a no. Okay, so if check the another option, that is so for the 4 process we have taken 4 resources for each and every process, and for the first 2 process we are going to allocate 2 resources. Okay, so now we are going to execute this process. So now first p1 will execute, and it will use the 2 resources, and then it will give the resource to the next process, and p2 will utilize the resource and it will execute, and it will give the resource to next process. Okay, so p1 and p2 will execute quickly, because so for each process only 2 resources are needed. So now p3 will execute by taking the utilize the resource of the p2, and then so now it will get again 1 resource, right? So it will execute, and then after p3 finishes the execution, p4 will execute by taking the remaining resource from the process. So p4 will execute to process, and it will complete the execution. Okay, so now for the 4 number of process, the operation is deadlock free, right? So if you are taking 4 process and 6 resource, then the operation is deadlock free. So now again I am going to increment the number of process here, that is I am going to take process p5. Okay, so p5 I am going to take. So now one process is allotted for each and one resource is allotted for each and every process, and extra remaining 1 resource is given for the p1. So now p1 will execute here, and then it will give the remaining resource to the p2. So now p2 will get 2 resources, and p2 will finish the execution. Okay, so it will finish the execution, and then the remaining resource it will give to the p3, and the p3 will finish the execution. It will give the remaining resource to the p4, and the p4 will execute, and then it will give the remaining resource to p5, and the p5 will execute by taking the remaining resource. Now so process, so here if the number of process are 5 also, it can execute successfully without any deadlocks. Okay, so now I am again going to increment the process here. So now I am going to take process p6. Okay, I am going to take the process p6 here, and I am going to allocate the 1 process for each and every process. Then there is a chance of deadlock, right? So here given the condition that each process had to maintain 2 drives. So each process had to maintain the 2 resource, right? But here only 1 resource is allotted for each and every process, and p1 will not execute, right? Because it is having only 1 resource. Okay, and p2 will not execute because it will be waiting that whether the p1 will finish the resource and give it for execution. Like that all the process will be in the waiting state, and there is a deadlock here. So the maximum value of n for the system to be deadlock free is 5. Okay, so for the 5 process it can execute without any deadlocks. Okay, so that is the answer. The answer is 5. Okay, allocation and maximum requirement of the tape drives for that process are shown below. Okay, so we are having the 3 process with the current allocation and the maximum requirement. So given that a system has 9 tape drives, that means a system has 9 resources, and the current allocation, so current allocated are total So 3 plus 1 plus 3, that means 7 resources are allocated here. Okay, so actually a system has 9 tape drives, and here already 7 tape drives are allocated. So what are the remaining tape drives here which are free? So that is 9 minus 7, that is 2 tape drives are free here. Okay, so and given the maximum requirement. Okay, so maximum requirement of each and every process is given here. Best describes the current state of the system. Okay, so here we have to find out the state of the system, that is whether it is safe or unsafe, or whether it is deadlocked or undeadlocked. Okay, not deadlocked. Okay, so first we have to find out the remaining tape drives here. So current allocation is 3 plus 1 plus 3, that means so total 7 are there. Okay, so and 9 tape drives are there in the system. So 7 are already allocated and 9 tape drives are in the system. So if you subtract from the total tape drives minus current allocated, then we will get the 9 minus, so here minus 7, that is, so we are having the 2 tape drives free. Okay, so 2 tape drives are free here. Okay, and given that maximum requirement of each and every process is given here. Okay, so how we are going to solve this problem is, suppose here the current allocation are 3 and the maximum requirement here is 7. So here 2 tape drives are free. That means, so if you take the available 2 tape drives which are free, and along with the current allocation, whether we can satisfy the system is having total 9 tape drives and 7 tape drives are already allocated. So here 2 tape drives are free. A process can access the free tape drives and it can satisfy it. We have to check that whether it can satisfy the maximum requirement or not. Okay, so coming to the first process P1, so let us check this one. So here the free tape drives are 2. So 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, so here but the maximum requirement here is 7. So we cannot satisfy the first process. So next we will check the second process. So given that current allocation is current allocation is 1. That means 1 tape drive is allocated. So along with the free tape drives, if you check, so 1 plus 2 is 3. So which is not satisfying the, so it is not P3. So if you add 3 plus 2, that is 5. So already 3 are allocated. So we are accessing the 2 tape drives which are free. That means 5. Right? So here it is satisfying the maximum requirement 5. Okay. So first P3 will enter the safe sequence. So in the safe sequence, so first P3 will enter. Okay. So now we are going to check the remaining one. Okay. So remaining one we are going to check. So next process is P2. So next process are P2 and P1. So now 3 plus 2, that means 5 tape drives are allocated, have been accessed by P3, and after so now available tape drives are 5, right? So here the P3 has accessed the current allocation, that is 3 plus the free tape drives it has used. Okay, so it is going to totally, it has used the 5 tape drives and it has satisfied the maximum requirement. So after using the resource, the process P3 has finished the execution, so it will release the resource. So now the available resources are 5. Okay, so if we check from the starting from P1, so P1 we are having the current allocation is 3 and the available free tape drives are 5. So 3 plus 5 is, so 3 plus, so which is, so here the available tape drives are more than the maximum requirement. So that means, so here it will satisfy the maximum requirement, right? So here if we check the process P2, so here the process P1 has finished the execution because the current the available resource are more than the maximum requirement, right? So here we need maximum 7 resource, that means 7 tape drives we need, but we are having the 8 tape drives available here, so that's why it will satisfy and it will execute by accessing the tape drives. Okay, so now the process P1 will release the resource here. Okay, so now so what is the new available resource? So it will become 8, right? So previously it is 5 after the P3 execution. Now after the P1 execution, the allocated resource is 3, right? So 5 plus 3, that is 8. So available resource will become 8. Okay, so now next check the safe sequence. P1 has entered the safe sequence. So next check the P2, which is the remaining process. So process P2 is having only one process available here. Sorry, one resource available, that is one tape drive is only allocated here, but it needs 6 tape drives, right? So okay, so it is allocating 9 tape drives. Okay, but it needs only 6 tape drives. That means the allocated tape drives are more than the maximum requirement, so it can execute, right? So actually P2 needs only 6 tape drives, but it is having the chance to access. So here the maximum it is given as 9 tape drives, so it can execute successfully, and P2 will release the resource 1, right? So only one tape drive is allocated for P2, so it will release the allocated resource and it will be added to the free available resource. So now 8 plus 1 will become 9. Okay, so now 9 resources after P2 execution. That means all the process have finished the execution here. So now P2 also will enter the safe sequence. Okay, so that means so the given system will not enter the deadlock, right? So it is not going to, so it is in the safe sequence and it will not be deadlocked. Okay, so here the which of the following best describes the current state of the system? Okay, so it is safe and not deadlocked, so the option B is the correct option. Okay, so let us see the next one. An operating system uses the Banker's algorithm for deadlock avoidance. Okay, that represents the current system state. So here the allocation matrix shows the current number of resource of each type allocated to each process, and the maximum matrix shows the maximum number of resource of each type required by each process during the execution. Okay, so there are 3 units of type. So there are 3 units of type X, 2 units of type Y, and 2 units of type Z. Okay, so that means if you take so X, Y, Z, so here it is given that there are 3 units of type X, 2 units of type Y, and 2 units of type Z, which are available, which are still available, that means which are free. Okay, so the system is currently in a safe state. Consider the following independent request for additional resource in the current state. Okay, this problem is also similar to the previous problem that we have seen. So here an OS is using the Banker's algorithm for deadlock avoidance. Okay, so here given that 3 process P0, P1 and P2 which are accessing the 3 resource. Okay, that is X, Y and Z. Okay, so it is the allocated matrix, that is the current allocated matrix, and the maximum requirement matrix given. So here it is the already allocated resources and these are the freely available resource. Okay, so the system is currently in the safe state and we have to find out whether it enters the it enters the deadlock state or not by the given request given in the options here, request 1 and request 2. Okay, so now let us check that one. So request 1 is P0 request 0 units of X. Okay, so if you take the request 1, okay, so P0 requests 0 units of X and 0 units of Y. Okay, so this is the request 1. Okay, so it is requesting the additional resource here. So additional resource means, so here already some resources are allocated in the given table. So additionally it is requesting this resource. Okay, so if you add this request 1 to the P0, so these requests are coming from the P0 only, right? So if we add it, so then it will be 0 0 3. Okay, so we cannot satisfy this request for the maximum allocated here. So here the max needed is 843. Okay, so if you use the freely available resource also, we cannot satisfy, we cannot satisfy the requirement matrix. Okay, so if you check this, so here I am going to add the currently allocated plus free resource. Okay, so it will become 3, 2 and 5, right? So of the request 1, so I am going to add this. So it is additionally requesting 2 units of Z. Okay, so 0 units of X, 0 units of Y and 2 units of Z. So this is the additional request of the already allocated requests. So now the request will become 003 here. Okay, so here I am going to check whether we can permit this request or not. Okay, so by adding the currently allocated resource, that is 003 with freely available resource, so now it will become 325, so which is less than the maximum requirement. Okay, so here if you observe, so here the allocation request is more than the maximum request and it is not satisfying the, okay, so it is not satisfying the given request, so given matrix. So that's why option the request 1 is not permitted here. So if we check the request 2, okay, so in the request 2, P1 requests 2 units of X. Okay, so here in the request 2 we are going to check. So in the request 2, so it is P1 requests 2 units of X and 0 units of Y and 0 units of Z. Okay, so this is the additional request. Okay, so the system is currently in state state. Consider the following the additional resource in the current state. So 200 for the process P1. So if you add it for the process P1, then it will become, so 320 plus 200 means, so 520. Okay, so now, so we are going to check whether it will satisfy the maximum requirement or not. So here the process P1 needs maximum 6210 number of resource, but here the allocation is only 520. So now we are going to use the freely available resource here, that is 322. So if you add the current allocated resource with the freely available resource, we are going to check whether it will satisfy the maximum requirement or not. Okay, so 520 plus 322. So 5 plus 3 is 8, 2 plus 2 is 4 and 2 plus 0 is 2. So 842. So which is satisfying the maximum requirement here, right? So that's why, so request 2 can be permitted. Request 1 is not in safe state. Okay, so now the option is B. So option B is request 2 can be permitted here. Okay, so this is the last question here in the deadlocks. An operating system contains 3 user processes, each requiring 2 units of resource R. the minimum number of units of R such that no deadlocks will arise is, okay, so an OS is having 3 process. The process number of process is 3, and the minimum number of units of R such that no deadlocks will ever arise. Okay, so here each process will use 2 units of resource. Okay, so each process will use 2 units of resource. That means here there are 3 process available, and each process needs 2 units of resource. That means, so there will be 6 resources available. Okay, so P1, P2, okay, so here each process requires 2 units of resource. So this is the given in question. Okay, the minimum number of units of R such that no deadlocks will ever arise. That means we have to find that. So what is the minimum number of resources that must be allocated for the process? Okay, so here the given condition is each process must have the 2 units of resource, right? So if you remove this resources here, so it is not satisfying the condition, right? Because each process requires 2 units of resource. Suppose I am allocating here, each process requires 2 units of resource, and if the P1 finishes the execution also, it will allocate the only one resource to P2. Okay, and after the P2 executes also, it will give it to the P3, but P1 cannot execute because it is having only one resource, and it will lead to deadlock. So this situation will lead to deadlock if only one process is allocated here. Suppose here I am going to take another option, that is I am going to take another resource for the process P1. Now it will, so the each process must have 2 units of resource, and the P1 will execute this 2 units of a resource, and it will allocate the resource to the P2 after the execution. So P1 will execute first, okay, and after the execution it will allocate the resource to P2, okay, and the P2 will finish the execution after availing the resource, and it will allocate the resources to the P3. So P3 here is already having the one resource, so it is going to again execute here, right? So now here we have allocated only 4 resources, right, initially. So after the execution it is going to give the resources to the next process. Okay, so that is, the answer is 4. 3 resources only, then it is leading to the deadlock, right? Okay, so it is leading to deadlock, so that's why we have taken the 4. So this is the at least 4 resources must be there to avoid the deadlock. So you can take maximum any number of resources, that is 2. So if you take 5 resources also, there is no deadlock. 6 also, there is no deadlock. So we need the minimum number of units of R such that no deadlock will ever arise, that is the 4 option. So these about the deadlocks in the operating system, and this question is asked in the GATE 1997. Okay, so if you have any doubts regarding the deadlocks concept, please go through my playlist about the deadlocks and deadlock avoidance and Banker's algorithm. Okay, so thanks for watching my video. Please do like, share, subscribe. Thank you.